Hey, welcome guys. Here we are. We're with Kevin Sousa. Kevin is an amazing guy. I don't know how many of you know him already. I bet a bunch of you do. Some of you may already be connected to him on social media, but Kevin has achieved a really significant result. In November of last year, Kevin recruited, and I want to make sure I got the number right, 53 people. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, 53 people in a single month using a free traffic strategy. Actually, two free traffic strategies from what I understand. But we're going to be zeroing in on one because I asked him which one would be the most useful for people to learn first. And he said that the Facebook chat method would be the method to do that. Now, so just to be clear, just so that I understand the numbers, before we get into the modeling that we're going to do here in just a minute, did all 53 of those come from Facebook in one way, shape, or form, or did some of them come from something else?
Actually, 7 of them came from paid advertising. The other 46 came from Facebook.
Okay, so 40, still the vast majority came from Facebook, and the few that came from paid advertising, was it solo ads? Was it
Yes.
Solo ads? Okay, perfect. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to break down basically a free recruiting, free traffic strategy, and we're probably going to have Kevin do some straight up teaching later on. Remember, NLP modeling is the core of NLP, and modeling is not copying somebody, although sometimes that's useful if it's not illegal to do it, right? We always want to mind people. I say don't steal people's stuff, but learn what they're doing and replicate it, and at the beginning, replicate it closely using your own story, right? Using your own story, using your own methods. But modeling is really about getting curious about how someone who's had an amazing result got that result, and it has to do as much with what their mindset is, what their beliefs are, and as it is with the actions that we're taking. So we're going to be doing more of modeling right now, and then later on we may have him do a video where he just straight up teaches the Facebook chat method as he did it to get the results that he got in November. And from what I understand is that shortly after November he had a health issue and some surgery, and he still had a trickle of people coming in, but that was the last time that he had a real big focused push. So we're going to be focusing in on that particular month and what he did during that month to get that result. Is that all right, Kevin?
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. So with that in mind, here's the structure of what we're looking for. We call it the GEO. We look for goals, evidence, and operations. Okay, operation is what you did, and that's what most people want to teach. But before we get there, we want to go back up into the goals that you've got around it. And so I want to rewind you to right before November 2015, and I want you to go into that moment where you knew it was time to bump up your production. And before we even get into the GEO, I'd just like to ask, what was it that triggered it? Like, what told you that it was time to do a big recruiting push?
Well, it had absolutely nothing to do with my personal goals. It had only very little to do with that. The team of affiliates that we work together with, Mike Hobbs is my sponsor in the business, and we work with Paul Hutchings very closely, and some other leaders within our team structure. We decided to have a contest, and the incentive was to win the contest. To see who could, sponsor the most people, get the most points. We had a point system and kept track of, how many chats we had during the day and where we were with those particular people when we chatted. And so we had a measurable tracking system, which we still do. And I decided to just go full force with it.
To go full force with that. Yeah, and now I'm curious, did you win, or did...
Yes, I did.
You did. All right. Well, that's great. Hang on. I'm going to put myself to do not disturb here because I'm getting calls coming through. Give me 2 seconds. All right. There we go. So you won the contest, and you came highly recommended. A couple people recommended you and said that you were very, very good at what you did. But it really came down to a goal focus. And what made it so that you wanted to win the contest?
Well, I knew that that was one of my strengths, chatting, and here's why. If you guys look at me, I'll be 58 years old at the end of this year. I'm old school, okay? And so, however, I'm one of the few people my age who are also very well versed online.
Right.
And so I took a lot of my old school training and applied it online, which is what I've been doing ever since I got online to create income. And that's all I did was just simply applied old school principles and practices to what we're doing in Facebook, and it works like a charm.
Okay. So for you, it was just a place where you knew you were strong and you knew you could win the contest.
I knew I had a good chance.
You knew I had a good chance, but now some people would know they have a good chance of winning and they wouldn't do anything. So like, I want you to go back into that moment and just think, what was it that tipped you to the edge and said, I'm going to do this. It's my time.
You know, there's just something inside of me that says, you can do this, just do it.
Just do it.
And so I, in essence, just said to myself, you can do this, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that same month I made a video entitled "Just Do It."
Just do it. And that was it. And so there you are, and there was no other outside means that was motivating you. It was just time to go do it.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So there you are. It's time. You're just gonna do it. Now I want you to go back to that moment right at the beginning of the month of November, and you were setting up your goals, right? And so we're not down into even the chat method yet. We're just big goals. Did you have a goal firmly in mind, or did the goal kind of evolve as you went?
Well, no, my goal was to sponsor one a day, average, in the month.
Sponsor one a day. What other goals did you have?
Well, the other goals are personal goals, which didn't really have anything to do with the Facebook
Oh,
chat.
just in regards to the Facebook chat. So if you put yourself right there in the moment, what other goal did you have in regards to the Facebook chat for the month?
Well, that was really it. To sponsor 30 people using Facebook chat. That was the goal.
Okay.
Everything else was really the plan,
Everything
or
else is
the
the plan.
activities.
The activities you did.
To reach the goal.
Okay, so let's zoom forward. So I want you to go, and I want you to pick with modeling. It always works best if we zero in on one specific day that stands out, or one specific time. And to be fair, if you're doing basically the same thing now that you were then, you can use one now. But if you can remember a specific time and day during November, that would be really handy. So what I want you to do is I want you to think back to a time when it's like it's time to do your Facebook chat for the day. Tell me a little bit how you structure that. Do you structure that like in the morning or the evening, or do you do it all throughout the day?
Pretty much from the morning through dinner time,
From the
with breaks in between for lunch and breaks.
So from morning, meaning from like
From say 9 a.m. To 5:30 p.m.
to 5:30 p.m. Okay. So from 9 in the morning, so there you are at 9 in the morning. And again, what triggers you that tells you it's time to do your Facebook chat? Is it something that you've scheduled out, or is it something that, you've scheduled it out? So
That's right.
You've got it scheduled out. You show up to your office. You're sitting in front of your laptop or your computer, and in the moment of doing a chat, and I want you to put yourself in a specific time when you're there getting ready to chat with someone, whether it was this morning or whether it was back in November, and just ask yourself, in regards to sitting down with Facebook, what's your primary goal in being there?
To identify people who have commented, liked, or shared my posts.
So identify people who've commented, liked, or shared.
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you a few times, and there's a good chance that you might blank out when I'm asking you this, because I'm going to ask it like 5 times probably, maybe more. What other goal? So there you are. You're about ready to chat. What other goal do you have? And I want you to go to a specific time. So if you're like chatting earlier today, go back into when you're chatting earlier today. Just think, what other goal do I have here as I'm getting ready to talk to these people who've liked, commented, and shared?
I want to identify someone who is willing to chat back and forth with me, that has the time to do it right on the spot when I'm prepared to chat with them.
Okay. So you want to chat with somebody right on the spot.
Right.
What other goals do you have there? So there you are. You're sitting in front of the computer. You've identified the people who've liked, commented, and shared. You've also identified the people who can chat with you right on the spot. What other goals do you have?
Again, it's more activity related. I just want to make sure that my Messenger is open in one tab, my personal Facebook profile is open in another tab, and my homepage is open in a third tab. So I have Facebook open in 3 different tabs when I'm chatting, so that getting myself set up, I want to be prepared to navigate easily and instantly while I'm chatting.
Okay. So you want to be prepared to navigate while you're chatting, which is a goal. And then we have a little bit of operations. So in the geo, we're looking at goals, evidence, and operations, usually in that order. And I know that Kevin has got a real detailed set of operations. We're going to make sure he has time to teach those, whether now or later. But the goal is that you want to be prepared to navigate like quickly.
That's correct.
Okay. And efficiently, because I'm guessing that you're probably going to be talking to more than one person at a time.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So what's another one of your? So if you're putting yourself there you're at your computer, and think back to like this morning or back to November if you can, and just put yourself right there. You're getting ready to chat. What other goals do you have?
Well, yep, you do have me at a loss of words.
Good. Step into the blank spot for a minute. This is where we want you. This is oftentimes where unconscious goals will come up to the surface. So what are you hoping for? There you are. You're getting ready to think about, and it'd be really helpful if you.
I'm hoping that someone is dissatisfied enough or has a problem or a challenge in their life enough to open up to me as I ask them questions. I'm looking for that kind of a person who has the time to speak with me right then and there, but are ready, willing, and able to open up to me as I ask them questions regarding themselves on the chat, so that I can lead that conversation. I'm looking for somebody that'll allow me to lead the conversation with questions.
Okay, hang on. So we actually got a couple of goals right there, and I just want to restate them just to make it really clear, right? So you want to lead them. So you're looking for someone who is dissatisfied. You're looking for someone to ask questions to. You're not looking to spam them, for example, right? And you're also looking for someone who will be led.
Right. I'm looking for someone who's open to engagement.
Open to
in
engagement.
A conversation with me.
So you're looking for someone who's open to engagement and open to conversation. So just for a minute, and I know that you may not have any other conscious goals, but just drop down into it. Think about someone specific that you were chatting with earlier today. And just ask yourself, what other goals did I have?
I am looking for someone who's reaching out to me as well. Lots of people reach out to me, and it's either based upon a post that I've done that's a quote, that's an inspirational quote, or a post that I've done that's a video of either me or something else, or a photo that I've posted that's motivational and inspirational, because those are my primary posts: videos, quotes, and photos that are inspirational and motivational. And what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for that to trigger a conversation from someone to me first, before I initiate a conversation with them.
So they've reached out to you, whether it's through a like, comment, share, or maybe even a private message or anything, right? So you're looking for someone reaching out, right?
Yes.
Someone sent you a friend request that you didn't initiate or whatever, right?
Yes, that too.
Or what I'm guessing, right? Just based on what you just told me. So you're looking for someone who's reaching out to you. Now I'm just going to ask you one more time, just because I want to know if there's anything unconsciously that's going through, because these attitudes and these little goals that guide your behavior, they'll end up guiding what you do. We'll almost be able to reverse engineer what you do if we know what your goals are, if that makes any sense, right? So, so just put yourself there. Put yourself to the last time you were chatting, even if it was earlier today. There you are, and you're kind of looking at your Facebook, and you're looking at all the people who've done everything they are. Maybe you've now engaged someone. In that moment, what's your goal? Now that you've got, before you say your first hello or whatever you say.
My goal is to help somebody. My goal is to find someone I can help. As an Empower Network affiliate, I'm empowered to help people with problems and challenges. and I want to find someone I can help. That's a major part inside of me. That's actually a goal.
Yeah.
Is to help someone because they need help. People need help, and we are their helper. I am their helper, and so is all the other affiliates that are out there. We are people's helpers. We can help solve the problems of finances and time. And I'm looking for people that need some help with their finances and time.
Okay, so you're looking for people with finances and time. So I want you to think about somebody specific. If it helps you, don't show us a chat window because we don't want you to expose your chat or anything, but open your chat window so you can look at it. And I want you to look at a specific conversation that you had so it kind of jogs your memory.
Okay, I need to open.
Yeah, it's fine. Take a minute.
Yeah. And as I look for this, what is it that you want me to find?
Really what I want you to do is I want you to remember the conversation. I want you to put yourself right in the moment where you started the conversation. And I want you to ask yourself, now that I'm starting the conversation with this person, what other goals might I have for this conversation? And just by looking at the chat, I want you to just kind of jog your memory of a specific situation. And I actually will want you to look at about 3 by the time we're done. I just want to make sure I've got all your unconscious goals all up and out before we move on to the next phase of the process. So you're at the beginning of the conversation, and I just put yourself right there. Now you're looking at the chat. We took a little pause there with the video so that he could do that. And what I want you to do, just mindset-wise, just remember you're talking to this person. Mm-hmm. What is your goal specifically with this person? First off, it might be helpful if you remember. I don't know if you remember like where you found him. Was it like a like comment?
Well, I have it right here. I can let you know here.
Yeah.
I said I noticed you liked my dot post. We've been on each other's friends list for 2 years. Tell me more about yourself. What do you do?
Okay. So what's your goal right there? That's what you said. What was your goal?
My goal was to find out a little bit about this prospect.
Yeah. Okay, so your goal is to find out. And in this moment, did you have any other goals with this prospect?
Well, yeah, my goal was to lead her in a conversation to identify things about her occupation, her family, what she does for recreation, to engage in building the relationship, to see if there's an opportunity there to, be able to prospect her.
Right. So you're just kind of finding out about her to find out if there's a place where you can talk to her. So you're just trying to get her to open up and lead her in a conversation.
That's correct.
Okay. And is there any other goal that you had right there in that moment?
No, that was it. Because frankly, that's all we do. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
We're looking for people that have a problem. We want to identify those problems, relate to them, not only find out about them, but I want to relate a little bit about myself at the same time, so it doesn't look like I'm interrogating them.
Right.
And so if all I did was ask questions about, hey, what do you do for work? Really? How long you been there? Okay, great. What do you got for a family? How many kids you got? I sound like I'm interrogating them. I want to engage. And when I ask them a question about an aspect of their life, whether it's recreation or what they do for work or their family, I'm going to share back to them a little bit about my family and recreation or whatever topic that I'm talking with them about. So I want to match with them. That's not the right word. There's a word for it, and LP uses it, where we're both on the same page, and it might even be modeling.
Well, actually, there are a couple of terms. Matching is actually something that we do. That's where we say something similar back, for example.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
because what it does is I want to diffuse the mind of the prospect and to neutralize, that's the right word, the mind of the prospect, and to let them know that I'm a real person, that I'm just as genuine as they are. And my goal is, another goal, okay, this is coming up from my subconscious now, is to is to find a common ground with someone, because when you're on common ground, there's a lot more cooperation between the prospect and us when we're identifying things about themselves in their lives that we're trying to engage with and to connect with.
Right. So I heard a couple things. I heard a goal to diffuse the mind of the prospect,
Yeah, neutralize.
or to neutralize. I'm sorry.
That's the better word.
So to neutralize the mind of the prospect,
Right.
to let them know that you're a genuine person, and to find common ground.
Right.
Now, you also kind of alluded to something earlier, and I just want to, but I'm not sure that I understood it right, so I'm going to just kind of toss it out and ask, is this a goal or is this not a goal? It almost sounds like you're all at the same time that you're connecting and diffusing and engaging and finding out about family, occupation, recreation, and all those things, that you're all, it almost seems like you're also sorting for whether or not they are engaging or not engaging.
Yes, and sorting as to whether or not they're even a prospect
Sorting.
or qualified for my business. One of my goals is to take on the posture of being a business owner, not a networker or an affiliate trying to get somebody in something. My goal is to be a professional and to identify whether or not I determine whether or not they're even qualified for me to give them my link.
Okay.
Unlike many people, that's their goal, is to get them their link. Get them your link, get them the link, quick, quick, quick. And then, I get feedback. Kevin, I talked to 24 people today, or I've talked to 24 people over the last few days, giving them my video, and not one of them have signed up. And 9 times out of 10, I discover it's because their posture is completely off base.
What's your goal with your posture? I mean, you said you want to be
The goal with my posture is to be a business owner, a CEO, interviewing for vice presidents. And that CEO just doesn't go out in the street and say, hey, I'm the CEO of a company. I'm looking for a couple of vice presidents. You want to check out my company? Check it out here. Come on, check it out. No, you're kidding me? A CEO will tell his secretary to go contact monster.com or some job search site, get them 20 or 30 resumes, and then screen those resumes, and then maybe even interview some of those resumes before the president even breathes a word to those candidates who could possibly be a vice president for the company. And so another goal is for me to interview people. I'm actually interviewing them in the most unique fashion, because that is not an interview per se for a job, obviously, because we don't provide jobs. And it's not even an interview for a business opportunity. It's actually an interview to see if they have the right attitude, the right mindset, and the right physical qualifications before I decide that they're qualified for me to give them my link to take a look at the opportunity.
So that is not your first goal. Your first goal is to engage with someone who's engaged with you, establish a connection, and then once you've got the connection, then you're sorting for whether or not you're even going to send them anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They have no idea. The great part about this, another goal of mine, is to not disclose verbally, and the only thing we have is text chat, to disclose that I'm actually discovering whether or not they're the right candidate for my help. I'm not disclosing the fact that I'm looking to see if they have a problem that I can help them solve. But that is what my goal is to find out a problem that another human being has that I might be able to help them solve by offering them my opportunity.
Okay, so the goal is connect. The goal is find a problem. The goal is sort and see if they're can. And there's a couple other little goals in there, but that seems like those are the big ones. Is that right? Or
that's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anything else? I know. I mean, I told you I'd ask you like a million times, right?
I know, and I'm on to you.
I know. Yeah. Well, the reason is when, and this is one of the assumptions of modeling. If we get all of your beliefs, and your beliefs about this are as important as the actions you take. If I get your beliefs, your goals, your evidence, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, I can reverse engineer the process.
Good. Well, I want to ensure that the prospect can identify and see my sincerity in the fact that I care about people. One of my goals is to let people know that I care, even if I just met them. And that can be accomplished by anybody, because if I can do it, like you said, it can be reverse engineered and anyone else can do it.
Yeah.
You want people to know, and folks, you want people to know that you care.
Yeah. Well, my experience with people is that if somebody doesn't care, you sniff that out anyway. Right?
Oh, easily.
Easy. It doesn't matter the technique you're using. It doesn't matter if you're using some NLP language pattern. It doesn't matter if you're doing whatever. If there's not the heart behind it, and this is something we saw with Justin as well with his copywriting. It's like for him, it's all about inspiration, right? It's about downloading and inspiring. Well, I don't have to do what Justin does to benefit from that. I can go, well, I want to really inspire people, and is my copy doing that, right?
Right. And another goal is in my engagement, I want to be able to use what I've learned over the past 40 years on personal development and building relationships and how to win friends and influence people. I want to be able to use the techniques that I've learned through tapes, cassettes back then, audios, videos, and events that I've attended. I want to use the principles and practices that I have learned in my conversations with the people that I'm chatting with. And I can easily spot those opportunities to use those principles based upon the fact that that's what I want to do during the course of the conversation with someone in a chat.
Sure. Yeah. Anything else? This is the last time I'm going to ask you. Promise. Okay. I know I asked for a bunch. We got plenty here, I think, so to work with.
Yeah.
But anything else?
Yeah, I want them to perceive that I'm focused.
You want to perceive that they're focused. Okay, so...
No, I want them to perceive that I'm focused.
Okay, they perceive that you're focused. Actually, I do have one more question. Once you've sorted them, once you've gone through the sorting process, how do you know that it's time to share a link?
Oh, that's easy. When a problem is unveiled,
okay,
either by the prospect or myself on a confirmation question, based on what they're telling me or what I've been asking them, it's very easy. And this is the key. It's never in the beginning or the middle of a chat. It's almost always near the end of the chat. Almost always. And identifying a problem is similar to what you just did with respect to identifying my goals.
Sure.
And I don't do it in a fashion where I continually ask them about the problems, but I do identify their problems, because most people have problems with their jobs. Yeah. Most people have problems with their with family members, and it may not be with them. It may be about family, not a problem between them and their family member. That's what I'm not talking about. I'm talking about somebody's got a problem in their family, and someone almost always has a problem with time and money when we talk about recreation and money. And I use an acronym to keep myself on track, and I always mix up that acronym to keep myself on track in my course of the conversation. So that's another one of my goals, is to use my acronym to keep my conversation on track with that prospect.
What's the acronym?
The acronym is FORM.
FORM.
You must have FORM. And again, old school, family, occupation, recreation, and money slash message. And I don't always go, okay, let's see, F. Let's talk about their family first. Okay, O, let's talk about their occupation. I mix them up. Most of the time, I talk about their job first.
Right.
What do you do? Tell me about yourself. What do you do? And then I ask further questions about that. When they tell me what they do, I tell them what I do. But I don't want to get into that because that's operations. But for the goal is to keep myself on track with no matter what order it is. It could be ROFM. It could be OMFR. But as long as I use FORM, the acronym, during that course of conversation, then I'm on track with that prospect. So that's a goal I did not talk about. That's huge. That was in my subconscious sitting there, and it's a quite obvious goal. It's one of also it's not only the major reason why I'm very successful when I chat, but it's also one of the major reasons why people fail when they chat.
Is they don't have any structure.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. And this hopefully will help people understand the importance of building that relationship. Form builds the relationship. And once someone has that relationship of knowing you and liking you, the trust factor, we've talked about it 1,000 times, know, like, and trust. When you send broadcast emails to your list, they're getting to know you, like you, and trust you, especially if you're sending them value, or if you're doing a value 1-minute video in your PPC. It's the same thing. People start to like you, they know you, they like you, and they begin to trust you. That same principle applies when using form when chatting. Right. And if you try to offer them your link way too soon in the process of getting them to know you and like you, they may say, yeah, send me the link, but they're not going to not only not watch the video, but they're going to say no to you and even lie to you and say, yeah, I watched it, but it's not for me. And I've experienced that just countless times, not only with myself in the past before I got real good at this, but with others who I'm working with.
Well, in a minute, I want to come back around, and if we have time for it now, I want to come back around. I want to talk about the strategy piece that you've got running that tells you that it's time to send a link, because I think that is a piece that, because probably a lot of people have dabbled in Facebook chat. Probably at least by my experience, at least once a day, I get somebody who spams me a link, right? At least. Some days I'll get 5 or 6 people who just say like, hey, I just joined a company, check out my link. Or I'll get someone who will say something like, one I got yesterday, there's a young gal, she looked like she's about 21, real nice. I mean, her profile looked reasonable, so I accepted her as a friend. Very first question out of her mind is, have you heard of NZ? I still don't know what NZ is, right? Somebody else on here probably does. I said, no. I mean, there's no hello, there's no how you doing, just, hey, have you heard of NZ? I said, nope. And she said, want my link? And I said, nope. Right? And so I know that you, as a successful Facebook, you're shaking your head there going, right?
Yeah.
I know that you, as a successful Facebook chatter, know that there's a better way to do that. We're going to get to that here actually, tell you what, let's zoom forward, even though this is out of order. I want to get to this just to make sure we have time for it, because I think this is going to be a key piece for people. Let's go into that.
Quick question.
Anything.
Do you want me to fix my lighting? Because it's now getting dark out.
Oh, yeah, fix your lighting. Do what you got to do.
Let me just there.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little better. There might be a little white spot.
And you and me have the same problem, that we both get the little white spot in the middle of the forehead, and that's the grace
but on the door behind me, you see that?
Oh, it's fine. We'll be fine.
This is better though.
Yeah, that's much better. So let's go to this strategy piece. So let's say that you've made your connection, and we'll talk about how here in a minute. You've made the connection. You've through form. You've found a problem. You have a desire to help. The person is sending off the right signals. How do you know it's time to send a link?
Okay, that involves the actual. It would not do it justice if I said, this is when you give them the link. I literally need to go through a process to let you know when it is time to give them a link, excuse me, by actually referring to an actual chat without disclosing names.
Perfect. If you could go to a chat, and again, if we need to pause the video.
I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready.
I'm
okay.
ready.
Okay. Rock and roll.
So, hey, I noticed you liked my dot post. We've been on each other's friends list for a couple of years. Tell me about yourself. What do you do? Well, my job is currently driving a school bus for special needs children. I do Reiki energy work and massage, as well as volunteer quite a bit for the kids and disability sport program, as well as Smith Fest events. I'm volunteering at an event tonight in Lowell, registering a VIP for a weekend festival. I've had many trials and tributes to overcoming cancers and seeing the white on paper you posted. And she said, my daughter goes to college in Kentucky. I see this is where you live. So she asked me a question. I love it. I said, Louisville, yes. Wow, you have quite a life. She said, I certainly do. Enjoying each day to the fullest and always striving to try new things within reason. I said, that's great. You know, I was thinking myself today, I have almost 5,000 friends on Facebook, and at the time it was more than 59,000 followers. I have 63,000 followers now, and it's only been 2.5 months since this conversation. It would be nice to get to know more people, I said. She said, I enjoy your posts, but I don't know exactly what you do as well. I said, well, you know, I used to work for a living until 2008. I was a call center consultant working 65 hours a week. She said, and now? And here's how I answered that. I said, now, my wife and I personally coach one-on-one people who like to earn money from home online. Tell me more about your Reiki energy work. Is that sort of a palm healing therapy, God's power of life force energy all in one? I redirected the conversation when she asked me about me.
So a lot of people would have taken that as bait and given a link right there.
Right there is where the biggest problem that people have. Oh, she wants to know what I do. You know,
right.
Like that president looking for vice presidents. Not time yet.
Not time yet.
When I asked her to tell me more about her work, about 12 lines of text, I waited for her to finish typing.
Right.
Okay. See, that's a Dale Carnegie principle that I was able to act upon because I discovered that I could use a principle called become genuinely interested in other people. That's Dale Carnegie 101, folks.
Yeah.
The moment they show interest in you, answer it, but ask them back a question about her. And she went into, well, I'm a Reiki 2 certified. I help move blocked energy for clients. I've been able to help family, friends, and clients feel better. She's loving this. She's telling me all about it. I'm allowing them to be more open to other healing modalities. I was honestly nervous about it, but I didn't use my gift after an incident that occurred in my brother's attempt to commit suicide when he was in a coma. And when I talked to him and placed my hand on his forehead and his hand, and he started choking and set all the alarms off on the machines, the nurses asked me to leave the room. And the next day while at church, which is where I took my class, I was attuned to the Reiki energy. I realized that possibly my Reiki energy was moving energy in him. And when I came out of church, my mom told me my brother came out of his coma, and I was a bit rattled over this, and it took some time for me to embrace it. But since then, I've become a certified to a level 2, which allows me to heal from a distance, which again has helped quite a few people when I have their permission to help them. It's a blessing from God. He's the ultimate healer, and I in turn help him. And I replied with, after that long dissertation, in all his glory and grace, God bless you for helping your brother. I'm grateful, she said, thank you. And so I said, how is everything else in your busy life? And so I changed state for a minute and said, you know, how are you being affected by what's happening with the economy? She said, I don't pay attention to the economy. I feel as long as I'm working, moving forward spiritually, educationally, creating positive relationships, I'm good. And if you're asking, do I want to know how to create more time, money, and freedom? Well, I'm always interested to learn. And of course, Kevin didn't jump on her for that, like most people would have.
Right.
I said, good answer. I said, actually, I was hoping you would say something like that.
So I want to pause you. You're right here because this is part of your qualification process. You didn't jump on her.
That's right.
But there's something in your mind. There's a strategy piece that like the brand new guy isn't getting again. What's the strategy right there when she goes, yes, I mean, she's almost leaping at you, right? Is what it feels like, and like, please give me your link is what a newbie would hear. But like, what is in your mind strategy wise that keeps you from taking that bait?
Well, here's why. You will gather. When you go fishing, you don't push fish away, you pull fish.
Yeah.
If I push, it's not going to work. when someone shows interest in even a spark of interest in what I do, I take it away from them. I don't know if you'd be interested in what I do. The moment they said, hey, what do you do? Well, I don't know if you'd be interested in what I do. I don't know if you'd even qualify for what I do. I'm not even sure. In fact, I don't have any openings right now, but see?
Yeah.
It's posture. So my strategy is to use posture of takeaway. I call it takeaway. The minute they show interest, take it away. Folks, it works. It works. So I said, good answer. She said, I've been around the block a few times with a few entrepreneurial endeavors. I said, really? Like what? See, I asked a question. The person who asked the question is in control, right?
Yeah.
And so, see, I just did it. You answered. You said right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's powerful.
I mean, isn't it? Wouldn't it? Couldn't it? Don't you agree? Isn't that true? All these questions are keeping control of the conversation, aren't they? And that's getting into technique. But I learned that from Tom Hopkins University.
Sure.
Didn't I? No. So anyway, she said, "I'm not trying to put time into the internet marketing, though. Is that what you teach?" And I said, yes, that too. What have you done in your entrepreneurial endeavors? I got her back to it.
You turned her back.
I asked her again, like what? What have you done? She said, well, I've been a Party Light representative and Market America, a phone company, which I already forgot the name, getting the people to switch their company to. I've been in Melaleuca. Currently got offered a position to sell life insurance, but need to pass a test to be an agent. Massage therapist also. I said, let me ask you, why did you try those different things in the first place? Now, there's a reason I asked her that, isn't it? Because I want to get to her core value. I want to know why she's looking. I said, first of all, let me ask you, why did you try those different things in the first place? And incidentally, it's refreshing to chat with someone who puts God first and is well-versed simultaneously. So again, I was hearty in my approbation and lavish in my praise.
Sure.
Folks, that's another line, sentence, principle that stands the ages from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. So get the book. I've referred to it at least twice because what are we doing here? We're winning friends and influencing people, and that's what we're doing in Empower Network, aren't we? She said, my massages with Reiki allow extra money. Thank you. I said, you're welcome. She says, I like people. I like helping and healing. I'm positive. I have 3 girls, divorced for about 15 years. I have a chosen lifestyle to accommodate my family with 1 daughter who has disabilities, as well as looking for ways to create more money, she said. And I said, my wife and I love people too. Our daughter has autism, and she's our driving force and the reason we help other people. So what did I do there? I just matched with her.
You matched her at the level of values.
We're aligned
Yeah.
now. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have been aligned had I continued that conversation and posted my link way back earlier in the conversation. She said, so I tried other things to see, which is personally fulfilling. I hope to know that there's more to learn and grow from. And here it is. This is the point where I was ready to give her a link because we were aligned. And that's the answer to your question. Kevin, when is it that you would actually offer giving the link, right? Isn't that what you asked me before? Yep. Okay, and it's right here. And here's how I did it.
Well, hang on. I want to actually, before you tell us how you did it, because we want to get there. I want the strategy piece here, because your strategy is you share the link when you know that you're aligned.
Right.
Okay. Now, again, a brand new guy isn't going to necessarily know when he's aligned, but how does Kevin Sousa realize that he's aligned? What are you listening for or looking for, or what's the evidence? And this is an evidence question.
It's so easy, folks. FORM. When you've covered FORM and you've uncovered your heart at the same time, and you've uncovered their heart at the same time so that you're aligned.
Yeah.
FORM, you talked about family, occupation, recreation, message, money, okay? She talked more about money than I did.
Right.
Let Okay, I didn't have to ask her many questions about that. It was her that was, and that's how sometimes the course of conversation will go. Now that I know I've covered FORM, which are the basics, and I've uncovered my heart and uncovered hers, now we're completely aligned.
How did you
And
know?
that's the strategy.
How did you know that your heart was uncovered, and how did you know that hers was uncovered?
Because we both confirmed with each other that.
And what was it? Read the piece in the text that told you that your hearts were aligned, because I want to slow this piece down for people.
Okay, I'm going to back up.
Yeah, back
Our
up.
hearts started aligning when I started using the Dale Carnegie techniques of the word technique. What is the technique? It's not really a technique, but that's how it's defined.
Right.
Becoming genuinely interested in someone else. You see, folks, the world does not have people who praise them every day.
Right.
And when someone does, and it's genuine and sincere, they're attracted to you
Yeah.
when you praise them. That's one point. And we both talked about God a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And when she said it's a blessing from God and he's the ultimate healer, and I in turn help him, I said, in all his glory and grace, God bless you for helping your brother. She said, I'm grateful. Thank you. There's a linking, hearts opening moment, right?
Yeah.
In that conversation. And when, let's see, when she said,
So it's not just when you're matching her values, it's when you're hearing a confirmation back from her.
correct.
Right? So if you matched and she said, no, that's not quite right, you'd say there's no heart alignment there.
Right.
Right? But if you say, God bless you for healing your brother, and she says, thank you, it's a true blessing,
Yeah.
you're starting
I
to know
was-
that something's happening.
She referred to God before I did.
No, of course, of course.
And so I just, confirmed that, and then she reconfirmed it, and that's like tying a knot. Hey, we got a good relationship here. I know you have a good heart.
Yeah.
Now, granted, she's known me for 2 years. I did not know her at all.
Right.
I never chatted with her, but she's known me because she has seen my motivational and inspirational posts on Facebook for years. That's why she stayed following me.
Right.
Okay. And so we're at the point where now I'm offering her the opportunity to take a look at the business.
Well, I want to pause for a minute here just to
Yeah.
make sure I'm slowing it down. So you saw her heart starting to open up,
Right.
and then you confirmed it. You just made a comment, and then she confirms it back. But she did that more than just once. She did that.
Right.
She did that what 2 or 3 times before you.
Yeah.
Do you always
Yeah.
wait 2 or 3 times, or do you? Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Here's why I say that. Every chat's different.
Of course it is.
Every chat is dynamic. And it takes time for someone to, yes, you can reverse engineer what I'm teaching, but there's one piece that needs the human heart, the human soul, the humanity, and common sense.
Well, as Mark Twain said, the only common thing about common sense is that it's not so common, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All of us. But here, I think that common sense is also something that we learn through experience, because I'm guessing that this has been a discovery process for you over time. So,
Yes, and you also discover too that when you're prospecting with someone, folks, they are not the last prospect on the planet Earth. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why you're giving them the link too soon. Not only because they expressed a remote shred of interest, but because of the fact that you actually subconsciously think that, oh, I finally got a prospect.
yeah.
Guess what? There are millions of people in this world.
Yeah.
Don't think that this one is I finally got somebody again. Oh, you finally. It's not the end, it's the beginning, folks. It's the beginning. And so change your perception that this is not the last prospect on the planet, because then your desperation takes over and you want to get that link into their hands as fast as possible, hoping that you'll be blessed with another person like this one soon.
Yeah.
Okay? We are in control. You and I are in control of the process. The process is not in control of us. Oh, I hope this works. No, I hope I work today.
Right.
So anyway, I didn't mean to digress.
No, it's okay. So, but again, slowing it down. So you wait for this one. You match at the level of values. Values a belief about what's important. So if she says, healing people and helping is really important, and you say, wow, yeah, healing and helping is really important for me, and she says, wow, that's right, or whatever. It's like, okay, there's one connection, but oftentimes, whether or not you're doing it all the time, at least sometimes, you're waiting for 2 or 3 confirmations that you've got some kind of alignment going on.
Right.
Right? Not always, but with this one you did.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so...
And then lead us up right to the sharing of the link.
Okay, so I'll just back up a couple of sentences. So she said, I said, my wife and I love people too. Our daughter who has autism is our driving force and the reason we help other people. She said, working with the school schedule has been important to allow me to be with them on times off with her children. I did home care for all the years growing up and now drive the bus, but it does not make for great money in the end of the day.
Right.
I said, I hear you, but it must feel great to be involved with helping. So I've tried other things to see what's personally fulfilling and hope to know that there is more to learn and grow from. And this is where I said, Karen, ... And she went, LOL, yes. It was almost we were physically having the conversation. That's how powerful heart matching is.
Heart matching.
Yeah.
Where do you feel that in your body? I mean, you're gesturing
my
up toward...
entire body. From head to toe.
Okay.
Because when I said Karen ... and she said yes, LOL, she knew what was coming.
Right. So of course she did. Now hang on though. This is an important strategy piece. So if I'm brand new, one of the things I'm waiting for is some sort. You're using your body as like an antenna for this. And
That's correct.
When you're feeling almost like, and you said something interesting, I'm going to paraphrase it. It's not exactly what you said. Somebody's watching the video will catch it, but I was taking notes. You said like, I feel it with my whole body, right? It's like, and then it's like we're right there or something like that. So you're literally feeling like you're in the room with her.
Right, we're physically having the conversation.
Physically.
Not chatting.
So part of your strategy for sharing a link is waiting until you feel the connection and that you're physically having it in that you're like feeling it in your... Does that mean you're feeling it in your body or what does that mean exactly?
Yes, it means that there's a smile on my face at this point in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's how I'm all alone. There's nobody in the room with me, but there's a smile on my face while I'm chatting online. Yeah. Come on. I mean, that's physical because I could feel her smile too. Yeah,
well, and by the way, as you went into it, I just want to point out you physically smiled and your color changed in your face, right?
Yeah.
You're remembering it, right? But this is an important thing, right? This is the part of the strategy that I mean, maybe you've taught this before, but it's like this is part of your strategy. You know when it's time to share a link. You don't share a link even if you've matched 2 or 3 times. That's not your criteria. Your criteria is I feel it. I am having a physical conversation now with this person. And that's your measurement of the connection. And then it's, boom, time to share the link. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Were you consciously aware of that or not?
Well, yes, both. It's really, it's hard to describe, but it's both conscious and unconscious. It just envelops my whole being.
Yeah.
When you just know. And then you know. Yeah. And you know they know.
And they can almost feel it.
It's just, and they know you know.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just awesome because the same thing happens when you prospect in person because I use the same principles and practices in person face to face as I do online.
Sure.
I don't change what I do. Why? What I do works because it's all about them.
Sure.
It's not all about me. You will give you will be able to give links to people on a virtually unlimited basis when it becomes all about them.
Right. Yeah.
You really will.
Yeah. Okay.
So and you know what? That feels a lot better than getting an email telling me I have a new lead. That feels a lot better telling me that I have someone who has watched my video electronically. You
Yeah.
cannot replace that.
That well that,
You know,
that
there'll be arguments of, well, I get at least 100 or 200 people a day or whatever get notifications, and so I kind of have that same feeling. Nope, you cannot have that same feeling unless you're engaged with that prospect.
right.
Period. It's not the same.
So you use your body to notice if there's real connection. And if there's not, if you're going like, if you're still hesitant, no link. No link, no love, nothing. And
No.
you don't want them around.
No,
Not yet. Not till there's a
No.
connection.
not now. Maybe later. I don't know.
Maybe later.
You know. Yeah.
So-
I'm planning seasons. I'm still sorting.
You're,
Right?
you're sorting. You're sorting.
Yeah, you're sorting even through the end of the conversation, and then when you follow up with them again in the future.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, and you're doing awesome. I appreciate it. I know I'm interrupting a lot, but I'm trying to pull out as much value as I can here.
Please do.
Yeah, and then we'll give you a time and a place where you can just teach and just give us all the structure of everything that you know how to do, because I know
Yeah.
you've got that lined out like a champ. So
Yeah, incidentally, I have good news.
yeah.
I have on document this entire chat without her name,
Oh, fantastic. We'd love to have
just
that.
so you know.
Well, we'd love to
Just so
have
you
that
know.
in the back, in the back office, so that people can take a
Yeah.
look at it and study it again. Because it's part of that is studying and go, well, wait a minute, why didn't he do it here? Why didn't he do it here? And noticing, not saying I'm going to use these exact words or this exact phrase, but kind of look at his strategy to see how he's lining this up. But let's go back. So there you are, and you feel this whole body connection with the person, and it's time to drop the link. So you go,
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
So I said, Karen. She said, LOL, yes. I said, I have a link that leads you to a video that I recorded personally, which explains the personal coaching my wife and I provide. Would you like to see what we do? And she said, I am curious. And I said, which means? You see, I still didn't. She said, yes. Okay? I want a yes. I am curious is not a yes, folks. Don't give her the link there. You'll blow it. I still didn't give her the link. I said, which means? And that came from the Sandler Sales Institute. I learned that technique and principle from Sandler. You never read the mind of the prospect, ever.
right.
Don't ever read their minds. I am curious does not mean I'm interested. Yes does. Okay? So when I said which means, she said, yes. I dropped her the link. I said, let's follow up. You're going to watch it now, right?
So now,
She said,
so hang on. So which link did you send her? This is to a personal video that you cut,
yeah, a bridge of me.
a bridge of you. And does the bridge
yeah.
go into the sales video or?
Yeah, the bridge leads them to the Empower Network video. Now, at that time, that particular one that I was using, that particular funnel. So a bridge of me, which leads them to the Empower Network video.
To the Empower Network video.
That's correct.
Okay. And
Right, so
so,
it's first a bridge of me, and there's a link on that page that leads them. It's a lead capture page, which takes them to my bridge page, which leads them to the Empower Network sales video.
okay, it's a lead capture page that leads to the bridge video that leads to the sales video.
Right.
Yep, got it. And and so what's your follow-up process like? So there you go, and you take her from.
Yeah. Well, she said, "Sound great." And I said, "I'll be back after lunch. It's been really great chatting with you, Karen." She said, "Perfect. Thank you for the interest as well." And I said, "God is good." And she said, "Amen." And I'm signing in, ready for more information. I'm at the site. And so she literally, when I gave her the link, said, "I'm at the site." And she said, "And I'm signed up." This was, so hang on, let me look at the time. Excuse me, actually less than 20, it was that night. That afternoon. Okay, I talked to her in the morning. Let me look at the time that I started the conversation with
Sure.
her. Real quick. It was at 10:36 a.m. 10:36 a.m. And let's go down to where she was, because we've obviously chatted since then. At 12:55 p.m. 1 o'clock. So I started the conversation at 10:30, and by 1 o'clock she said, "I'm signed up, ready for more information. What do I do?" I said, "Great, let's talk." and posted my phone number and gave her the startup, which of course watched the fast start videos and blah 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 blah.
So
I did
had she purchased by then, or had she?
Yeah, she said I'm signed up, ready for more information.
Okay, gotcha. I missed that. So
Yeah.
she
So
purchased.
that very day, let's see, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, within 2.5 hours from the chat, she was in.
Right. And so she's in, she's signed up, and then you tell her to go through the fast start videos. And do you do anything?
Right.
And this isn't a new member orientation thing. We're going to go through that later with somebody else.
Yeah,
But that's basically where you got her from there, right?
correct.
Okay. So let's go back. I wanna pull out a couple of key pieces, and I think I've got about. Let me just check my clock here real quick. I think I've got about up to about 19 minutes, but then I got to go pretty much right at the top of the hour here. So just let me take a quick peek at that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go at 5 o'clock my time. It's about 4:41 right now. Okay. So and by the way, I'm learning here. I've taken reams of notes, and I hope if you're watching this that you've also learned from Kevin. And remember, we're gonna let him teach on two things in separate videos, and where he's just gonna be walking you through how he's done this. But remember, your goals necessarily define your actions. You change. Now, probably not all of his goals are as important as the other, but there's going to be and that's what we're going to go and identify right now. Which are the key goals that he has? Because his goals going into the chat are going to determine what he's looking for and how he does it. And if we can match his goals, and if we can match his evidence for how he does things, there's a good chance we're going to start doing things in a similar fashion. We're still going to have to go through the learning curve because Kevin's got a lot of experience doing this, but it's going to majorly shortcut that learning curve for us just by knowing what to look for and how to know that we got it. I think this piece about using the body as an antenna, that's not something that I would have imagined on my own. So I just, for me, that was a big sharing piece. That's something that I got some major value out of. But and I like the way that he describes heart matching. And you might describe it differently, but you'll know what he's talking about when you get there. And you start to feel something opening up, right? Just like I might not feel inspiration just because, Justin's probably the last video that you guys watched. I don't necessarily feel inspiration in the same way that Justin feels it. But I know that when I start to feel inspired, I'm in a good place to write, and I'm in a good place to speak, and I'm in a good place to produce my content, right? Even if I'm not using his same marketing strategy, right? Because that heart space, you can't fake that. You get that. That's big time value there. So out of all the goals, I'm just going to read them back real fast, and I want you to tell me when we get like one of the major ones, and I want you to go flag that one. Okay, that one's important. Okay, and I want to grab like the top 3 goals, and we're going to kind of break those down a little bit into evidence and maybe even what you do with them in the next couple minutes. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going down. Your goal to sponsor one a day. How important was that to your chat process?
No, that was my goal for my action, so
Yeah.
we won't flag that one.
Okay. Identify comments, likes, or shares.
Yeah, well, again, that's kind of finding prospects.
Finding them.
So, yeah, that's not during the chat.
Not during the chat. Identify someone who will chat with you right on the spot.
No,
No.
keep going.
Okay, messenger. Okay, that's the process thing. I want to be prepared to navigate quickly. I want to find someone who's dissatisfied. Okay.
Yeah, that happens during the chat. So that would that would be one, maybe a little red flag.
a little flag. You want to be able to lead them. You want to you want someone who's open to conversation, someone who reaches out to you, and your goal is to help someone.
Yeah, help someone. Big, huge.
Big, huge one. Okay, and find someone you can help specifically with finances and time, I think is what you said. And then we have find out about the prospect is one of your goals. Leading in the conversation around family, occupation, recreation, and money or message.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Okay. Okay, so the form method, I think they call that, right?
Yeah.
Is one of your main goals. You want to be able to relate to them. You want to be able to engage them. Your goal is to share back. Your goal is to neutralize the mind of the prospect. Your goal is to be to say that I am a genuine person. Okay, to find common ground. To sort whether they are a prospect for your business. To have the mindset, I am an owner, I am a professional. To say that I am the business owner interviewing for a VP position.
Yeah.
That mindset.
Those two kind of go together.
Okay, we'll just say they're the same thing or similar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then that's another one to red flag. Okay. And then we've got to have a heart connection, which I would put as the goal. That's not how you said it.
That's huge.
Yeah. Or the heart matching, right?
Yeah.
And we already talked about the evidence on that one. Okay. And I think that's good. I think that gives us a few to look at. Is there any that we missed?
No.
Nope. Those are the important ones, huh? Again, I'm always curious, not that it matters one way or the other, but is there anything that was new in there that you hadn't explicitly taught before?
No, actually.
Okay, good.
I've pretty much taught everything, but the way that you have interviewed me and able to bring out things that are important to be covered when reverse engineering this whole process.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And then when you teach it, it'll be very logical, sequential, and we'll have those videos up too. And so if you prefer that style of learning, that'll be available to you.
Yes, and also just FYI, when I give somebody a copy of this chat script, this actual chat script,
Yep.
they don't get to experience what we have just put together here.
No.
They just read the script and they're not understanding the psychology behind every statement that we made in this chat.
Yeah.
And I think it's really awesome that if someone looks at the script and watches this, interview, they're going to really get exactly what to do when you're chatting with someone.
Yeah, and again, it won't keep you from making some dumb mistakes. Let's be honest. Even now, Kevin, you have some chats that probably don't go that well.
That's right.
Right. That is.
We all will. Yeah.
We all will. Right. And I know enough about that. People ask me, well, you're an expert NLP practitioner. Do you ever have a session that goes badly? Yeah. It's the way that life works, right? Do you ever make a mistake? Do you ever break rapport with someone, right? I'm pretty sure I did that with someone yesterday. It's like you do the best you can, and if you make a mistake, you correct it, you learn from it, you move on, right? So let's go in. So of these goals, I've got just a few outlined here. Let's take a look at, and I got my notes turned around. We've got, you want someone to find someone who's dissatisfied. Your goal is to help someone. You want to be able to lead the conversation, and you have this mindset of I am an owner, I am a professional, I'm interviewing a VP, and then to get the heart alignment. And we've already talked about the heart alignment. So of those goals, which is the first one that you want to break down? Or which one is most important, do you think, to the whole process?
Form, because it keeps you on track with all of the above.
Okay, well, let's talk about form. I want you to explicitly teach how you approach. This is more of an operations question, so we're skipping the evidence. But how do you approach the whole form thing? You talked a little bit about it earlier, how you just want to hit every point. But maybe think about a specific chat that you've had recently. You don't have to go pull it up or anything, but just kind of think through how are you strategically approaching that as you're approaching the prospect.
Okay, well, I can actually do a pseudo chat in my head to describe that.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yep.
Again, I begin the conversation with a compliment about something. Hey, thank you for liking my post or sharing my post or making a comment on my post. Tell me more about yourself. What do you do? That's the first thing that I ask. And of course, that they could assume I mean what they do for work. Which most of them do, and that's what I'm asking. And it's okay that that's almost an assumptive on their part. Find out what they do. Well, I'm a carpenter. Really? How long have you been doing that? Oh, for 10 years. 10 years. You must love it. I hate it. I always praise. You must love it. I hate it. Why? You must have a good reason for that. Do you mind if I ask why? Yeah, because I work too many hours and I don't have much time. Oh, okay. Yeah, but obviously you stay with it. Why do you stay with it in spite of that? So I dig a little bit about their occupation. And I tell them, what do you do? I teach people how to earn income online after I ask them what they do for a living. But I go right into my next question. So, married, kids? Yeah, I got a wife and a couple of boys. Really? How old? Oh, 10 and 12. What are they, like fifth, sixth grade? Yeah, so one's in sixth grade, one's going to seventh grade. Oh, okay, great. So what do you guys do for fun? And I might go right into recreation, or depending on how the chat's going, I might say, yeah, I have one stepdaughter, actually. She has autism. She's 18 years old. Love her to death. She's taught me patience. Because of her, I have more patience than a hospital. Sometimes I'll say that and I'll be funny, and they'll chuckle, ha ha ha, and I spell patience correctly when I do that, but they still laugh because it's a play on words.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll get into, so what do you do for fun with the boys when you're not working? Well, we love to go camping in the summertime, and in the wintertime, we all like to go bowling. Great. How often do you go camping in the summertime? Well, maybe once a month or so. And I'll ask them, are you happy with that? I mean, why don't you go more often than once a month if you love to do it? You see how I'm leading the conversation?
Yeah.
Obviously, money and time is what's stopping them. I want them to tell me that. I know that's the reason, duh, but I'm not going to, well, why don't you spend more time with them going camping if you love to do it? Because I can't. Why is that? Well, like I told you, my job, I got work too many hours. Yeah, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I use feel, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way when I had a job. I didn't really have much time or money to do anything I wanted to do in life until I found what I do now. But why when you go bowling during the colder months, how often do you do that? Are you in a league? No, I'm not in a league, but we were thinking of maybe joining a league. So yeah, that's maybe one night a week, right? Joining a bowling league, which means you'd have to make sure you're home from work on time for that. Isn't that true? Yeah, that's true. My wife works too. She doesn't have to, but my wife works for UPS. She's got 2 more years before she's fully vested for her retirement, and she's insisting on staying on a job even though she doesn't have to. But does your wife work? What does she do? Well, yeah, actually, my wife's a part-time nursing home gal. Oh, okay. Well, how many does she work during the day or at night? No, during the day when our kids are in school. Okay, yeah, great. Does she like that? Well, yes and no. Well, when you say yes and no, what does that mean? And I don't read their minds. I always ask them, what does that mean? Yes or no? Well, yes, because it brings in extra money. No, because, well, she'd rather be staying at home. Okay, I can relate to that. Why doesn't she stay at home? Well, we need the extra money. Well, you must have a good reason for needing extra money. Why is that? Now I'm starting to talk about things they want that they can't have with their current situation, right?
Right.
And so I'm sifting. I'm identifying whether or not they're a prospect for my business. And sometimes I'll end the chat abruptly, right there. Well, you know what? Gee, I have to run. I tell you what, I'm enjoying this chat, man. Let's talk again tomorrow sometime. You're on Facebook a lot, right? Yeah, I am. Okay, great. Do you have Messenger on your phone, or do you wait till you get home to get on Facebook? I always ask them that. There's a reason for that. Because I have a little notepad next to me on my desk that I take little notes. John Smith, Facebook, mobile, both. Okay? That's important, folks. We have a business to run. We need to know. So when I talk to John, again, I'll say, are you on your phone or at home? Right? And that way I know whether or not he's prepared to do. I don't want people to go watch my video from their phone.
Interesting.
I want them to watch it from their computer at home. Okay. Now, some people may argue with that. Oh, you're limiting yourself, Kev. No, that's my policy,
That's the way
and
you work.
I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, because I'm talking to them, I'm not waiting for leads to come into my email from advertising that I spent thousands of dollars on, or hundreds of dollars on, or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
That this is different. Free advertising and free marketing is a different animal than paid advertising. Okay. It takes guts and courage a lot more to do what I do than it does to just pay for some ads. Okay.
Well, let me ask you about that, and we probably are getting to the point where we're gonna have to wrap up here in a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because time, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate your time, and also if you aren't connected with Kevin, make sure you connect with him, say hi to him. Well, really, reach out to him, give him a little bit of love, like his stuff, comment on his posts or something like that. Let him know that you're out there and you've learned something, if you've gotten something valuable from him. But how do you motivate yourself to do this? Because there's a lot of people that do this and they get discouraged. And maybe they're even having success, but it's like the mental output to get there is a lot of energy, man.
Well, a couple of things. Okay. Boy, am I glad you asked me that. I believe. I believe in my reason. My reason is why I get uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable when your reason is strong enough. It's only uncomfortable when your reason is not believed in and is weak. I hope this works. I hope I work today. The only way I'm going to work today is to have my belief. And to break through that wall of belief, I look at my reason. And I change my state if I'm not in a state of belief. If I'm not in a state of belief, because of whatever happens, we have the nya-nya-nyas of life, I call it.
Sure.
The nya-nya-nyas of life, right? And the nya-nya-nya of life will take you out of your state just as quickly as the actions that you want to take to break that wall will bring you into the state that you want to be in. And so my heart says, when I'm ready, that I believe in my dream and my outcome. My outcome has already been manifested. That's how strong the belief is. And when your outcome and belief is strong right here, you will move heaven and earth to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And you won't think of the process, you'll think of the end result. And when you think of the end result, it's so amazing how the words come to you, what to say and how to say it, and the inflection in your typing. By the way, typing has inflection. Remember, Karen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
There's inflection in those words, folks. So don't think that typing doesn't have inflection, because it does if your heart's in it and you believe. That's the mindset that you need to make chat work for you. When you believe in your goal and you use some technique like we taught, you cannot fail. You will just chat with the next person. And if that chat doesn't go well, you're going to go on to the next person. Why? Well, you have a goal to achieve. You have an outcome to live out. That's why.
Yeah. Last question. What is your why?
My why is freedom. If I were to say it in one word.
Is it a freedom from or a freedom to?
Oh, it's both. Freedom to and from, baby. And you won't achieve freedom unless you help others achieve theirs.
Yeah.
And so it's all encompassing. It's everything. It's inside and out, back and forward, up and down. Freedom is not just a word. Okay? Without spending hours telling you all my whys, because I have more than one why.
Sure.
The biggest why is freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom is the reason.
Now, you did something interesting, and this is my last question. You did this, freedom, and you kind of marked it out with your hands, kind of like that, right? And you did this thing like you were looking at something. Put yourself back
Yeah.
there for a second.
Okay.
What was the image that came to your mind?
Peace.
Yeah, what does that look like?
Peace looks like standing in a field, watching birds flying by, trees in the background, water in the distance, and a calmness, beautiful sunny day, maybe one or two spot of clouds for color and perspective. But freedom, to be able to walk and run and stand and smile and to give others that same feeling is what freedom means. Freedom is a state of mind.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you asking me, how did that feel and what does that look like to you? Because
Yeah.
freedom is a state of mind.
Yeah.
There's a musical, by the way, there's a musical called Shenandoah that was put out back in the 70s. And that was one of the songs. The name of the song was Freedom is a State of Mind. And I'm dating myself, but I don't care.
That's all right.
I don't care how old or young you are. Freedom is an important thing. That's why.
Well, it is. Well, this is a good place to pause. I just wanted to say thank you, and again, give Kevin a shout out. Reach out to him, say hey, and let him know that you appreciate all the learning that you got from him. I wanted to say from my heart, Kevin, thank you. And I learned a few things that I can immediately go and apply to anything I'm doing, and that's super cool. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Practicality dictates that everyone's results will vary, as we are all unique and different. Basically, it takes hard work to make a substantial income in this business, and some people will make no money at all. The earnings of an Empower Network affiliate will be 100% dependent upon their skills, work effort, commitment, leadership capabilities, and market conditions. Common sense would suggest that in most opportunities, one would find exceptional individuals performing well above average, while others perform under the average. Empower Network does not guarantee any level of income or your success. To see our full income disclosure, please visit our website at www.empowernetwork.com/income.